If you want to wear those, you can.
Yeah, great.
You don't have to lean forward like you're in court if you don't want to.
Fantastic.
You ready if I kick it off?
Yeah. I'm just. I
yeah.
want to make sure. I don't knock this.
I made it harder than it had to be, and I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, that's fine.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Confessions. Everyone wants to confess. Not everyone wants to hear them. I've been doing this podcast for 7 years, and this is the guest that I've wanted to have on for the entire time I've been doing this podcast. Would you please welcome the great Nish Kumar? Welcome.
Nice to see you.
I cornered you in Melbourne.
Permanent podcast guest.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm truly a regular on every podcast somehow.
That's right. Yeah, you are. Absolutely.
I don't know how I've managed it, and yet somehow I'm on every single
Your
one.
podcast royalty. Does that feel good, or are you not into it?
I don't love the phrase podcast royalty, actually. I think
I'll redact it if you want. We don't have to.
The only thing I have more contempt for is actual royalty.
Yeah. The big two, podcast royalty and actual royalty. Now, you're in Melbourne at the moment that we're recording this. So you've got, when this comes out, you've got a few shows left in Melbourne.
Yes.
And then where are you off to after this? Have you on a big tour?
So I actually go straight from Melbourne to Sydney.
Great.
And then I go from Sydney to Perth to Brisbane. And then I go from Brisbane to Wellington and Auckland. So I'm on a
amazing.
real kind of Australia, New Zealand burst.
Yeah, a real burst. Yeah. And
it's like the last time I was here, I was here to do a festival in Sydney in November 2022, and I managed to tack on 2 nights in Melbourne because I love it here so much.
Yeah, right.
And then for some reason, just as soon as I left, I was like, why on earth wouldn't I have gone to New Zealand? Like I've done a couple of really like long runs in the festivals in New Zealand, probably about 8 or 9 years ago now, and I just thought, what was I thinking? Like having come all this way.
The flight here is so long
Why
as well.
on earth wouldn't you maximise the stuff that you're doing while you're out here? Yeah,
but this time you are. You're doing it all.
This time I am maximising it to the max. To a fault.
To a fault. Maximising it to the max is a great way to say it as well.
Yeah.
Now, Nish, you have a wonderful podcast as well. Can you tell us about the podcast? People might not know before.
I have a podcast that's a lot less fun than this one. It's about UK politics.
You said that so soon as well. We haven't even gotten to the confessions yet.
Listen, I guarantee you, because my podcast is a weekly podcast about the state of UK politics.
Sure.
So it really is, but yes, it's very. I'm very proud of it, and I'm very proud to do it. And I do it with my friend Coco Khan, except not currently because Coco Khan is on maternity leave, which is exciting. And
hard to take maternity leave from a podcast as well. I think this might be the first time it's ever been done before.
Listen, I think if you've recently had a baby, you shouldn't have to do anything. And people should just randomly give you £10 notes. Like I really just think if you've been through that process of like growing a human and then firing it out of one of the holes in your body, then by all means, or having it ripped out by a doctor. Either way, congratulations. Yeah, here's £10.
Yeah, your podcast royalty, you can take some time off.
And so but anyway, so that's a UK political podcast called Pod Save the UK, and it's part of the sort of wider crooked media nexus of podcasts that started with Pod Save America and is now taken in various different American political podcasts, and we are the sort of UK outpost. I like to call us the I don't think sister podcast is right. I think the sort of drunk niece podcast.
The drunk niece, not drunk uncle or auntie, but a really drunk niece.
Yeah, a really hammered niece, like a niece that's gone
How old's the niece?
too hard at a family wedding. 16.
Oh, okay, right.
16.
Not a 3-year-old.
Yeah,
niece.
she shouldn't have been allowed near the bar. In a way, it's actually more the fault of the parents than anyone else.
But she got stuck in early. Now, this podcast is all about the world of confessions. Sure. Now, what is your history with? You're a pretty open person, do you think, Nish? Do you confess to things regularly? Or?
Yeah, I've always had to confess to things.
Yeah.
Like I've always.
You do stand up.
Yeah, I'm a stand up. Yeah. Like confessions are at this point tax deductible for me. I'm always constantly confessing absolutely to various different flaws and foibles. So I've got no qualms about confessing to things. I'll cop to a fart. I did one in a lift just now. I was with my cousin. He was furious about it. I said, I hold my hands up. That's me.
That's me.
That's me.
I'm that guy.
That's me. And it was disgusting.
And you admit to it openly.
And now it's going to be really awkward because a family's just got in from the pool at the hotel and we're all just going to have to stand here in the fug of chlorine in my ass.
But what a great fart to be in podcast royalty fart.
Podcast royalties guff.
Now, this podcast is all... I take all of these confessions from Reddit. Have you had any experience with the wonderful world of Reddit.com?
Yeah, I mean, I will say that Reddit is a bit of the internet that scares me.
It's terrifying.
I can't really fully wrap my head around it. And I've sort of... I've sort of tried to keep it at an arm's distance. Now, I will say that my partner, Amy Annette, who is also out here doing a comedy show, has been using Reddit to get recommendations for food in various cities that we've been in. Because we've been, we've sort of been touring since about mid-February. Yeah. We've been all over Canada and the States, and she has now said, I think you should engage with Reddit a bit more, because she said, for me, Reddit was like, I was like, that's...
it's a bin fire.
It's a bin fire on the internet. But she was like, that bin fire is now sort of everywhere on the internet.
Yeah, sure.
And her contention now is that Reddit is a bit like what the internet was about 15 years ago.
Yeah,
And it was actually just sort of people's weird opinions.
Yeah.
But in amongst that, there was some useful information.
Yeah, like
as
places
opposed to now
eat.
where it's like adverts for gold and Nazis.
Gold
the
and
rest
Nazis.
Of the internet. It's just gold bullion and Nazi. Every day I wake up, I log onto the internet, I feel like Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Like, all I'm dealing with is gold and Nazis. It's crazy.
It's because Reddit is kind of the new 4chan. Like that's the, when 4chan started, it was like that was kind of a bin fire as well.
But now 4chan, I believe, is just outright men's rights activists.
Yeah.
I believe
really
now,
alt-right.
4chan is now just like a fully radicalised group of people.
Yeah. Reddit has not gone there. And even the 7 years I've been on, it has not gone that far just yet. But so the people on Reddit love to confess, right? That's what they love to do, and they feel better when they confess online. I've found some wonderful, wonderful people on Reddit.com. And Nish, I want to get your opinion on whether you think these people should confess or not. Confession 1 comes from gorgeous Maria. Maria confesses, I'm the one who's been sleeping with your husband, Chloe.
Oh, my God.
I know you're a suspicious little mouse, aren't you, Chloe?
Oh, my God.
Never heard that as well as a saying, suspicious little mouse.
I'm going to be honest with you. Maria sounds like... I don't want to jump to too many conclusions.
I think you're safe to.
Maria sounds like a serial killer.
Absolutely. Yeah, like you can wear them as their skin.
Repeatedly saying the name has a real Hannibal Lecter vibe.
It does.
It has a real Do You Still Dream of the Lambs, Clarice? Like, it really is like... It's that sort of passive-aggressive repetition of someone's name.
It really is. And calling someone a little mouse as well. Awful stuff.
Yeah.
A suspicious little mouse, and you look like one too.
Adultery is the least of our problems.
Yeah, I know. I could laugh in your face. I'm loving myself so much. What a great saying.
This is one of the worst confessions I've ever heard in my entire life.
I thought you were about to say this is one of the worst podcasts I've ever heard. Like brutal from Nish right up.
This is one of the worst confessions I've ever... She sounds like she's about 10 minutes away from hiring a skywriter.
I'm prettier than you. Look at me flicking back my golden locks.
I mean,
we can't.
Is terrifying.
And I'm being so cool and fun about it too. I love that I've come backstage to your show and have terrified you just before you go on stage.
No, this Maria is a psychopath.
Absolutely.
We need the police
And she's
involved.
here tonight. No. It all started a year ago, and at least once a week we meet up. I wasn't even interested in your husband, Chloe, until I decided I was. It's a great sentence. Doesn't need to be said.
Also, that's how everything works.
Decision.
That's how literally nothing has happened until it has. Well, congratulations.
I didn't want to go to that restaurant until I did.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great.
Jesus fucking Christ. Got Confucius here.
It was suddenly, and it hit me like an electric wave coursing through my very being. My heart did flutter, and then I was inviting him into my home after too many drinks. And you confided in me, Chloe. You confided in me and told me that you suspect foul play. Now, look, this is terrifying, Nish, and I do apologise for bringing you this.
Absolute psychopath.
There's a massive twist coming. Do you want to guess where? She doesn't kill someone. No, I haven't brought it to you going.
The only way that this has a happy ending is if this is a Tyler Durden Fight Club situation, and it's the same person.
Chloe is everyone at the same time.
Yeah.
You don't suspect me. Maybe think back at the time you borrowed my car and backed it into a fence. So it's all for revenge, basically.
Right, so this is a revenge
affair, yeah. One of the greats.
Also, those two are not proportionate.
No way.
Those are not proportionate.
Backed your car into a fence and go, I'm going to sleep with your husband for a year.
You can't settle a destroyed marriage with an insurance claim. Like, this is...
I'm even. Yeah, Call it even.
This is absolutely not proportionate.
We're quids now.
Yeah.
I hadn't forgiven you, Chloe, and I shan't, suspicious little mouse. I hate that she keeps bringing back up the mouse thing.
Awful.
You would never... I love that I've been doing this podcast for 7 years and I've never had anyone just go to the whole thing going, awful.
This is a horrible person.
My soundbite. Yeah. You would never suspect me, your mother.
Oh, my God.
Should I... This is like Jerry Springer all of a sudden.
Jesus Christ.
Should I be saying something to you, Chloe? Should I come clean? It feels as if I could. As time goes on, I'm feeling a little bit guiltier.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. This has suddenly turned into a Greek play.
It really has a real tragedy.
Also, I'll tell you who's a real piece of work. The husband.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't say me for bringing this to you. You're a piece of work.
Who's the husband that's banging their mother-in-law?
How awful is it? They went for a few drinks and then she's like, do you want to come in? She backed my car into the fence. Would you like to come and fuck me?
Absolutely wretched. You know what? I will say this for Chloe.
Yeah.
You're better off without either of them.
Absolutely.
Your husband's a piece of shit. Your mum's a piece of shit.
Do you just walk away from the family?
You just walk away from the family. That's total excommunication.
Yeah.
That is total excommunication.
Exonerate yourself.
Yeah.
What do you do? Do you get a passport, fake passport, move to a new place and start again?
I think I cannot endorse criminal damage. I would say you're immediately setting your mum's house on fire.
Absolutely.
Point number one. And while it's burning, you're chucking all your husband's belongings in
Yeah,
there.
great. Burn the city down.
I would definitely say that is an immediate, that is, I'm never speaking to my mother or my husband ever again.
No, absolutely.
Well, the husband is also, to be honest with you, if you're ending a marriage with someone who is willing to shag your mum, you are not missing out on much.
No,
that is not.
You're well in your rights.
Yeah, you're well in your rights. You're absolutely in your rights.
You take that to court, like family court, and you go, "Oh, you're getting off."
I think we should have a provision for what I call the golden trio: cheating, hitting, stealing.
Great.
If either one of those three are involved, then you're fine to just go.
I'm out.
There should just be a button that you can press that legally divorces
your
you.
chair just goes into the ground and you're out. Yeah,
you just rotate them off like a game show contestant that's got a question wrong. Like, I think, this is absolutely psycho shit.
It is psycho shit.
Yeah.
In this case, she's saying, do I come clean? Like that. I love that she's asking for advice after she said all of this. You little mouse.
I don't think you can use the word clean in any context.
No way.
Also, it does feel like... So where has this occurred on Reddit? Is this just something someone's written on Reddit?
Yeah, so this is just... It's called our confession. So just Reddit confession, and they write it on there. And then people under it go, yeah, fuck her. So people on Reddit are like worse than the people that are posting it a lot of the time.
I think with this one...
Yeah.
I think if you're in this position, you should come clean. But it sort of seems like she wants to come clean. Because, But I would definitely say
it's almost a brag.
Yeah, it's almost a brag. Like, come clean, because in a way, I think you want to come clean.
Yeah.
I think you might be an actual bona fide psychopath.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll get John Ronson in, and John Ronson has gone absolutely.
John Ronson has like his head has exploded.
Yeah.
I think this is a 100% case of psychopath.
Yeah.
So I think you should confess, because I think that's probably what you want to do. Calling people little mouse. You disgust me. You absolutely disgust me.
I've had John Ronson on the podcast a few times, and every time he comes on, his mouth is just open, just like, and even if John Ronson thinks it's fucked, you know it's pretty bad.
If John Ronson or Louis Theroux thinks something is weird, you are in Disneyland filled with fecal matter. Like, this is an absolute nightmare situation.
Absolutely. So we're not even saying confess at this point. We're just going, just move countries and burn everything.
No. So what we're saying
is that the advice?
Confess, and for Chloe, we're saying it's time for you to, I think, maybe change your name. Move to a different country. Your mum's a psychopath. Your husband's as bad.
Everyone's bad.
Let's not take the husband out of this. The husband also has blood on his hands.
Yeah, I love it that he didn't come up that much. It was just like he just came back for drinks. It's like, what is going on with that?
Awful man.
Well, let's move on really quickly from those people. Let's move on to the next confession that comes from James. James confesses, I have a friend called Adam who is not the best looking guy you've ever seen.
Respect.
Yeah, but also so funny to call your friend that as well. This is my great friend. He's not that great.
Awful.
He's had no real experience with girls, and he really wants to.
Yeah.
I wanted to say he's completely desperate.
Yeah.
And also, if you say I wanted to say he's completely desperate and then say it, it's probably the same thing.
You've said the same thing.
You've said the same thing.
You don't really understand language. Okay.
He's a great guy, and I really like him, but he looks like a sloth.
Cool.
And I don't know if women are really into sloths.
Well, I mean...
He's also a person. And your friend.
He's also a human being who you just said you think is a great guy.
Great guy, but he looks like a fucking sloth.
No wonder this guy doesn't have any... He's not getting any...
That's right.
His self-esteem is clearly in the absolute toilet.
From his best friend.
Yeah, so he's just socialising with people who have nothing but contempt for him. You look like a sloth. Want to be my friend? Yeah. Right.
Yeah, right. Got nothing else going on.
Awful.
I move too slowly anyway to make new friends. He gets friend-zoned pretty hardcore, haha.
I mean...
Fun.
First of all, I think friend-zoned is
what a terrible term.
Astonishingly stupid turn of phrase.
So stupid.
To still be using in 2025.
Yeah.
Continue.
Anyway, I paid someone to spend time with him at a bar and show interest.
Okay.
Just $200.
Fine.
She had to walk over and chat him up and really strike up a conversation.
Right, sure.
She had to.
She had to.
She was a 10 out...
By contract.
By contract. She was a 10 out of 10 boss babe too.
Right, okay.
Which was cool, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess. And she chatted and his confidence really skyrocketed. Skyrocketed, I think he means.
Yeah.
Little slothy Adam.
Jesus Christ.
So long story short, I love after all of that to
Yeah.
say. Talk for 10 minutes and go, long story short. He really liked this girl and got her number, but she's not texting back.
Right.
I wonder if I have to tell him that I paid her because it'll break his little slothy heart and she's not writing back. What am I meant to do then? Can I pretend to be her?
No, you
what a weird way to end it as well.
Congratulations on having the worst possible idea.
He's only had one idea, and that was it.
That was your first port of call was I should pretend. Also, who was this guy? How's he got this amount of spare time to just like involve
Forever?
in schemes around his friend's love life?
Like a sitcom scenario where he's like pretending to be her and then his friend and he's like running from room to room for the rest of his life.
This is really how people end up getting Mrs. Doubtfired. This is how
Mrs. Doubtfired.
People
It's a great term.
absolutely end up doubtfired.
Yeah, you've been doubtfired.
You're absolutely on the verge of a doubtfiring here. No, you must not pretend to be someone.
No.
You should not have paid somebody to talk to him. Instead, I would say what you need to do, just say to your friend, hey, it takes all sorts.
Yeah.
There are all sorts of, you just need you need a bit of an ego boost. Now, the way you're not going to boost his ego is by consistently saying, you look kind of like a sloth.
And call him slothy.
Yeah,
don't do that.
I would lean on the "you're a great guy." Unfortunately, I think a lot of men need to go to like basic friendship school.
Yeah,
like you should really.
They don't teach friendship in school. It's a great thing. They really should.
They really should. We got a crisis of masculinity at the moment.
Yeah.
And some of it is driven by the fact that men are like, I don't seem to have any friends anymore. And it's because you're an arsehole. Yeah. Because you watch too many Andrew Tate videos. And no one wants to hang out with you anymore. So, like, maybe we should have friendship classes for men.
Yeah, especially when you're in, like, your 30s as well, because men can't make friends when they're, over 30 for some reason either.
We're letting it go.
Yeah.
We need to go back to the source.
Yeah.
Forget about this generation of men over 30. It's over. It's a write-off.
They're done.
We need to go back to the source and start teaching men how to be friends with men. From like a relatively young age.
Yeah, great.
This kind of crap cannot be allowed to happen.
No, not calling someone slothy all the time and then paying someone to talk to them.
Stupid.
Only $200, Nish. Huge.
It's also just like the whole thing is mad. The scheme is idiotic. Your solution is worse.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really want
to, no one's a winner in this story.
If you really want to do him a favour, stop being his friend. Tell him. Listen, my slothy friend, you need to have a bit more self-esteem.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that self-esteem can manifest itself is by you having nicer friends than me. I'm out.
Great.
I'm mercy killing our friendship.
Yeah.
Because it's clearly not doing you any good.
He can move in with the mum from the last confession. They can move in together.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be surprising if that was the husband.
They'll hook up. Yeah. Well, let's move on quickly from them. Let's move on to the next confession that comes from Dave. Dave confesses, I'm a school principal.
Uh-oh, already a bad start.
I'm a great guy, also a bad second sentence.
Terrible start. I'm a great guy, and I didn't do the things they said I'd done.
I didn't do any of it, actually. My hands are here.
I didn't realise she was a student at the school.
And I love my job.
Okay, sure.
All bad stuff so far. Yeah. I like to think I'm very good at it, but I did deface the school's property. What a good defence.
That's a real relief.
All I did was knock out security cameras, breaking them instantly and then throwing them in the skip bin.
Yeah.
These security cameras, I don't know if you know this, cost a lot of money.
Oh.
I probably know that, probably.
Yeah. We would assume.
We could know that.
Yeah.
A lot of money. There are now flyers out to catch this person who vandalised the property. And I'm the one leading it. Now, what would you think, Nish, is a reason to vandalise these cameras and take them down?
I mean, I'm hoping it's by accident. Because, again, I feel like we haven't quite got to the bottom of this. And if the extent of this problem is that he's vandalised cameras, fine. We're fine.
Sure.
But, again, we don't know why he's taken out the cameras. What did the cameras see? This is the information I need before I'm willing to make any kind of value judgment on this.
Great. Well, he does tell us. Fantastic. This is good. Yeah. Imagine that was at the end of the confession.
Well, no, I'm worried about what this is about to be.
It had been, I promise you I don't bring the really fucked stuff on here. A murder. It had been such a big week for me, and I was running on no sleep.
Respect. We've all been there.
Hell yeah, brother.
You harassed educators?
I had a really big night, something I never do.
Respect.
And the next day, got into the car park and was feeling really awful.
Okay.
I'd gotten in extra early that day after the biggest night out. I slept in my car for a bit.
Jesus Christ.
I wasn't feeling good and my guts dropped.
Fine.
I was too early and didn't have my keys for the office on me. I knew I was going to shit my pants.
Respect.
I squatted down outside the car and
God.
just as I finished, I noticed the security cameras.
White Lotus.
It is White Lotus. That's when I destroyed them all. All the evidence is gone. Now people are looking for this person and I do not know what to do. What if I get found out? What if they bring it up at a teacher's parents' night, I think he means. Maybe it's time to come clean now.
You know what? I would say this is the only one of these where I would say, listen, let he who is without shit cast the first stone. We've all been caught short
Beautifully put.
at various points in our lives, especially some of us after a big night.
Especially some of us.
Now, listen, if you're a dedicated educator and you do your job well and you work really hard for your kids, your school is better off with you in situ.
Yeah, great.
Now, what I would say is, at this point, probably that footage is a career ender. I think taking a full shit on school property is probably a career ender.
Yeah, it could be.
And with this,
and whoever has that footage has the ultimate blackmail as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I've got you forever now.
I would also investigate what the cloud-based storage system was of those security cameras.
Yeah, just destroying a camera doesn't do shit.
You don't want to get a new set of security cameras and them to be like, okay, well, we'll just fire up the backups to last known date. So I would keep an eye on that. I think no value in coming clean.
There's no value.
The manhunt. Just eventually you'll say, listen, security systems get knocked out at schools all the time. I don't know, I'm assuming that this is like a state-funded school, and if it is, obviously budgets are tight.
Sure.
But I would still say, I actually don't think there's any value in coming clean on
I don't think so.
What are you
going to do it in front of all the parents and all the teachers?
I mean, it's very difficult. Just take yourself through that process. I'm so sorry that we've been on this manhunt, but I had to knock the cameras out because I did a shit on the front of the school.
We've all been there. Make it relatable.
Yeah,
We've all been there.
Well, guys, you know what it's like when you're the principal of a school and you take a full shit.
And you've had a big night out. It doesn't happen often. Keep saying that.
And also, listen, I don't want to get too in the weeds with this, but if he's had a big night out, the shit will not have been.
Oh, no. It's not clean. It's not a clean break.
It's not a clean break. So I would just say.
Yeah.
Also, what happened to the shit? I'm assuming.
Well, that's the other thing. By his car.
Surely he cleaned it up.
Yeah.
Because if there is, I would say.
Shit under the car or next to the car.
If everyone's arrived at the school and there's just shit all over the school, I would say the security, that's the least of our problems.
Yeah. We don't care who did it. We just want them to clean it up.
So one assumes that he cleaned it up so they don't know anything. I think this is a victimless crime. There'll be an allocation in the budget in the next fiscal year that can get the security cameras back. I really think...
I thought you meant cleaning up the shit. There's always room in the budget for cleaning up a principal shit.
Listen, we have to assume. We have to assume that in an institution
we've got nothing else
filled with educators and students, if they turned up, saw shit smeared everywhere and all the security cameras gone, including the one pointing directly at where the shit was smeared, that they would have put number 2 and number 2 together.
They don't, they don't need Hercule Poirot.
Yeah. This one we can stand out.
Bring in the big guns.
Even the Kenneth Branagh version of Poirot would be able to work this one out. So I would say that we must presume that he cleaned the shit up. Sure. Therefore, I think this is a no-go. I think keep this to yourself. It's going to be a funny story in 20 years at your retirement. Like, that's how I feel. Maybe.
Do your best.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of time to really refine it and hone that story.
It's been a funny story on a podcast.
It's been a great story on a
podcast. I don't know if this is a controversial view. My feeling is this is a victimless crime.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. I think it's fine. I don't think you need to tell anyone ever.
I don't think so.
You can tell your friends. That's fun.
Yeah.
But don't tell anyone else ever. Don't tell the kids.
No, don't tell the kids. Don't tell anyone at the school. No. Let it lie.
Yeah. Great. Well, let's move on to the next confession today that comes from Amy. Amy confesses, I've fallen in love with a tiny doll. It's weird, I know, but hear me out. I'm a completely normal person.
That's as all completely normal people are.
Normal person who has never loved a doll before.
Sure.
It's not like I have this rich history of falling in love with dolls.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like that. I do not.
Murder's not a murder until they murder.
That's right. My friend Ebony has this collection of dolls.
Right, sure.
And one night, when house sitting for her, I ended up sitting with this doll and just having a regular conversation.
Okay.
Sure. I know I led the conversation.
Yeah.
Because the doll didn't.
I'd say so.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I'd say so.
But it was so nice. And it turns out we have the same interests.
Oh, my God.
I guess if you're putting all of the interest and leading the conversation that heavily with a doll, you probably would have the same interest.
Yeah. You have the same interest as yourself.
The doll's not going to go, I'm actually all right.
Yeah. This is terrible.
The doll and I would just chat.
Oh, no.
And after a while, I found myself completely addicted to the doll.
Oh, no.
I put it in my pocket as I left.
You stole the doll.
You stole the doll.
You stole the doll. Point.
My friend asked me where it was, and I didn't say a word.
Okay.
I then said I had no idea where it was. So I left it one sentence is I didn't say a word and then went, I don't know where it is.
Yeah. Oh, that doll.
Oh, that doll.
Yeah.
What are you talking about the doll for?
Yeah. Okay. Well, first of all, your friend knows you stole the doll.
I then said I had no idea where it was. I've kept it for months now and called him Hamish.
Oh, no, he's got a name.
It's the worst.
This is a disaster.
I will never let him go because I am in love.
Oh, no.
My friend told me she wants it back because it's worth over £10,000.
And clearly knows that you stole it.
Absolutely. I don't care.
This is miserable.
I'm not giving it back. We might get married. Is it that crazy to say?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, it absolutely is. Also, I think it's quite clear what's happening here. Amy, my partner's name. I got a lot of affection for people.
For Amy's.
Huge amount of affection for people called Amy. You need to return the doll.
Great.
You need to confess what's going on.
Yeah.
And you need to, and I don't mean this lightly, see a therapist.
See a therapist,
okay? Because there's a
good advice for all of the confessions, really.
Yeah, it's actually good advice for everybody, in fairness. But, like, you need to see a therapist. And you need to chat through why it is you managed to fall in love with a doll that you have animated and given...
And stolen.
Yeah, and given consciousness to.
Yeah.
So I would say, Amy, I think you seem like one interesting person. You've definitely got some
interesting is
stories.
Good. Yeah.
There's a wide world out there of human beings that you could interact with and tell them some of those stories.
Yeah.
So here's what
you could meet a real life Hamish.
Here's what I would say.
Great.
Pop the doll back.
Yep.
Confess to your friend. Go to therapy.
It's worth $10,000 as well.
I mean, that's already the whole story.
Yeah.
Ebony's
I
not
stole
exactly...
a doll that was worth 10. You didn't have to say the love stuff.
Yeah. If that's... Yeah, I mean, don't dress it up then.
Yeah.
But, like, I would say, and I don't say this like I say this as somebody who wishes they'd gone to therapy sooner.
Yeah.
Pop yourself into therapy, my friend.
Sorry, how
Mark,
are you?
This is my tour manager, Mark.
Oh, how are you? Hey, I'm Sammy. Nice to meet you.
Sammy, yeah.
Yeah, how are you?
How did it go with...
With Tom, it was great. It was so much fun. We just did it down the Malt House, and it was so good.
So have I interrupted?
No.
We'll just finish it up, and then I'll be ready for 8:25. Thanks, Mark. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So you think that's the only advice, really? You can't really do anything after that. It's the only thing you can do.
That's the only advice.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid you've got to let Ebony react in the way that Ebony's going to react.
Yeah, great. Yeah, there's no real advice you can give there apart from that.
No good advice.
No good can come from this.
No good can come from this.
At the end of that, Nish, you have 4 lovely confessions from 4 lovely people, and I do say that we don't.
We've got a confession.
I tried my best with that segue.
We've got a sad person. We've got a harassed educator.
Yeah.
We've got a man who's kind of a dick to his friend. And we've got one of a story that contains 2 of history's great psychopaths.
We've had to cast one of these as a major motion picture.
Yeah.
Which one springs out the most? You got Maria, who's the one sleeping with Chloe's husband.
Yeah.
You've got James, who has a friend called Adam, who's not the best. That was slothy.
Yeah.
You've got Dave, who's a school principal that's been shitting, and you've got Amy, who's fallen in love with a doll.
Well, I mean, they all sound like
great
they make
choices.
very, very good films. I mean,
Short films.
There's a movie called Lars and the Real Girl that is about that.
Yep.
I think that there's quite a lot of comedy movies from the early 2000s that are about men who are not good friends to other men.
Yes. Yeah. That's true.
And then I would say, listen, the sort of incestuous affair is that's good stuff.
That's good stuff.
But I would say, in terms of as a slapstick comedy, and with someone doing something well intentioned, that sort of blows up first out of their arse and then their face. I would say I'm going to go for the head aster.
Yeah, great. The head aster. Is that what it's called? The head aster. Would you cast Greg Davies? Who do you think would play?
I would love to cast Greg Davies. I would absolutely. Also, there is a fantastic story that Greg Davies tells on Jonathan Ross. No, it's on Graham Norton.
Oh yeah,
about having a terrible shit whilst he's teaching.
Great.
And it's great. It's great.
Oh, he's perfectly cast.
Well, it's also great because Ryan Gosling is on the same show, and so like. It's funny for me to see people that I know sat next to Ryan Gosling.
That's so funny. Yeah. Telling a story about shitting.
So funny. He thinks he's so funny. So yeah, I would love to do that as a movie because also I think there's a lot of comedy potential in the sort of manhunt for the person who destroyed the security cameras that he's leading. He's trying to find himself. There's a whole subplot where he could start sending letters, like ransom letters to the school cut out of the newspaper. And he's like, if you want to see your security cameras again, then I need $10 million. Then they start doing a crowdfunder for the $10 million. Like
he's fallen in love with the security cameras.
He's fallen in love with he's
of course.
I think there's real potential for a sort of heartwarming Greg Davies vehicle.
Great, I love that. Yeah. This is really good. Well, he wants to play a teacher again, obviously, so that's great.
Listen, I think for the right script, Greg would move. I think for the right script, we can get Greg.
And this is the right script.
I've got his phone number.
This is the right one.
Either I'll call him so much he says yes, or I'll call him so much he changes his phone number. We don't know which way it's going to go.
Could be either way.
Yeah, we could go either way.
So, Nish, how do people find you if they want to find you and go and check you out in Australia on tour?
If you want to find me, I am on nishkumar.co.uk/gigs.
Yeah.
And that has the information about all of my live shows that are coming up in the near and medium future.
Amazing. Nish, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast. I'm going to go and watch you do your goddamn stand-up right now, and I can't wait. Let's do this. Thank you so much, Nish, for joining me.
Thanks, Abby.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I tried to wrap it up as quickly.
No, not at all. We're in great time.